Hey, Glenn.
Wolf, how you doing, buddy?
Good. I brought you a whole bunch of more rock and roll stuff to show you. And as I told you before, when you have over 10,000 rock and roll items, this is the place, Glory Day Collectibles, that you bring your stuff to find out what it's worth, whether it's passes, tickets, t-shirts, programs, posters, and other rock and roll memorabilia. Glen's Group, they analyze it, they tell you whether it's a real autograph, a fake autograph, a good poster, a good program, or whether they're copies.
Event organizer there was given this by the band. The fact that Garcia died and this gentleman in the middle here, he died shortly after, Brent Midland. He died 4 months after the show. So to have something signed by all six, now they have already authenticated it, we're waiting for the letter to come in.
Right.
They're gonna, and here's the ticket from the concert as well. Now, this photograph will probably sell for about 8,000 US.
Wow.
That's how collectible. I mean,
Grateful Dead are.
yeah, if you had all four Beatles on a photo neatly done like that and authenticated, you're talking 50,000, 60,000.
Yeah, so the very first thing we do is to make sure that it is indeed live ink, that it's not a photocopy of any kind. Yeah, we use loop magnification. You know, there's different methods that we use, but that's definitely the first thing you want to do. You know, and then we have an exemplar file, which is our most important tool that has close to 1 million exemplars of pretty much anybody you can think of, from the Rolling Stones to Joe Montana.
And on that file is all different copies of their autographs.
Yeah, and it's in chronological order too. So you could look at, you know, Mick Jagger's autograph and see what it looked like, you know, this year, or what it looked like. Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense.
You know, and then obviously, you know, unfortunately, when people pass away, you know, they become, that's it. You know, what's out there is out there. So it's, you know, like this Stones piece has Brian Jones on it.
Right.
You know.
Brian Jones was one of the first Stones to pass away. This is an autograph, tambourine of Roger Daltrey from The Who playing it. And then these guys take a picture of it and they show it in this pamphlet, authenticated, to give it value.
But the real ticketing, when the ticket market became very big for rock and roll, was when the Beatles broke in '64. And of course, Ed Sullivan Show, and I've actually had the ticket from the Ed Sullivan Show, which the theater I think only held 300 to 500 people, and that ticket's worth about $15,000 now if you have the ticket, because that is really the breakout moment of rock and roll. I was 11 years old. I remember watching it and thinking this is a great thing ever, and I've been a diehard rock and roll fan since then. But they did come. They played Maple Leaf Gardens. We're in Toronto or close to Toronto. And all three tours, they did 3 major North American tours, 64, 5, 6. They broke up after 6. Right. And even though they continued to be a band till almost 70, studio work and other, but they never toured again. And Toronto, Maple Leaf Gardens, they played that venue more than any other venue in North America.
And that's because Ballard scammed them for 2 shows,
Yes,
right?
because when they showed up in '64, they thought they were doing an 8 o'clock show, and he goes, "You're doing a 4 o'clock show as well." And you'll see some of our tickets. This actually says 4 p.m. Right. And that was the one they slipped on them. And this is actually a '66 ticket, but it is 4 p.m. They did that each year. So there's a full sellout, both shows, 4 and 8 o'clock, 15,000 screaming girls, which it mainly was. And they were told they had to play it. And when they balked and said, no, we don't want to play that extra show, they said, you go out and tell the 15,000 screaming girls out in the street that you're not playing. So obviously they played. So there's 6, like a total of 15,000 people, 6 shows in Toronto. There's 90,000 ticket stubs. Who knows how many got thrown out, but there's still thousands around.
How much is that ticket?
Well, this is, I do this with a lot of our tickets. We get them graded or slabbed or authenticated. This is a company called PSA out of California. They do it. There's actually a Canadian company now that does it as well. But this ticket being slabbed makes it worth more.
Right.
But this being a 66, you can see there's some creasing on it. That's still probably in the slab, maybe a $500-600 ticket. If it was just raw without the slab, might be $300-400. If you ever have a full, though, there's certain situation when a full ticket's worth more, and people really want the full ticket from 66 because in 64 and 5 there was no pictures of the Beatles.
Oh, yeah.
But if you have the ticket, you got all 4 heads on it.
Oh,
so a full
that's
ticket
why
from
it's
this
worth
year
more.
sells for probably $3,000 to $4,000. if you had a full ticket. I don't have one right now,
So
but they go for a lot more.
Some of the other Beatle tickets here, and you'll see them pop up.
Yeah, there's a 64, a 65. People
This
get
one's worth around $350.
right. Here's one. The ones with the heads are worth a little bit more, but a lot of it's due to condition. Like
Right.
this one has some staining because 80% of the people that kept tickets would tape them in a scrapbook or glue them on the back. So
Right.
you'll often find some damage
Damage.
on the back. Even though you don't look at the back, if there's damage on the back, the ticket's not worth as much. But the Beatles started it, then all the other bands came.
The good part about this concert is after the Eagles and Joe Walsh played with the Eagles, and the next day they announced that Joe Walsh was joining the Eagles as an official band member. This is the famous Pink Floyd concert at Olympic Stadium. It was so famous in the Pink Floyd book here that they have. They reproduced the poster. As you can see, the poster is a different pink and smaller. So this is the original one taken off Olympic Stadium wall. Great Western Express poster was a concert in Northern England. It was a 4-day Woodstock concert, and the lineup was incredible. And here's another good poster, like you see, Supertramp, Breakfast in America tour at the C&E. So one of the other good things that is rare in rock and roll collections, but is well known, is the bobbleheads.
These stones, now they're not that old. They're from the Licks Tour 2002-3, I believe.
Yeah.
But they're still worth over $100 each. Now, they're also more expensive to buy. Back in the day, those Beatle bobbleheads probably sold for $3.
Right.
And now they're worth like $250, $300 each.
Other good bottleheads that were popular was the Monkees bottleheads. They're worth about $150.
Right.
And another good one is the Monkees car. Like, it comes in all shapes and sizes. There are 3 Elton John bottlehead ones, one where he plays with the baseball, one Captain Fantastic, and one Yellow Submarine. They're worth over $100 because they're rare. He didn't make many of them, and they were only sold on the tour. Right. Individual tours. So you had to get these 3 bottleheads, you had to be on 3 Elton John tours to obtain them. This is an all-area pass. We had to make it special with names and ID because Apple Computer, they invited too many guests. All the big wigs wanted to come, all the telecom people from San Francisco and LA and the movie stars. So when we were at this show and I was working with Mike Brown staging, during the dress rehearsals and the shows, we were swamped with families on stage. Oh, Steve Jobs invited me, Mozzie invited me, I'm the tech guy from Al. So we decided we can't run 3 days of shows like this. So we're gonna make all area pass, stage crew only. And if you had one of these VIP or all area passes from Wozniak and that, it excluded the stage because it was too many high-tech VIP guys with their nose up the air thinking, I can stand on the stage, you know, and I can bring my family on the stage. So the only way to eliminate that was we said, it's all areas except the stage. Show that Grateful Dead t-shirt. This one's worth hundreds of dollars because Grateful Dead are in demand. And
the skull on.
Yeah, on the skull. So what do you think that t-shirt's worth?
Probably, it's got a couple of holes in it. Looks like perhaps roach burn.
Yeah, I would guarantee it.
But, you know, without the roach burns, probably $300 to $500. With it, maybe $200. This Very View flicker button of Elvis would be worth quite a bit of money, probably.
It shows 2 different
images of Elvis, depending on how you look at it. Maybe I'll get lucky. I'll find a joint in this pocket. No, nothing. Too bad. It's always good. You never know when you find drugs from one of the roadies.